So normally live on a Sunday morning, I would use the time to review what I've been doing and look ahead. But today, I think I'll talk about teachers' mental health because it is crucial for so many people right now. Reading the forums, talking to teachers, so many of you are way past what you can cope with, and we need to talk about that instead of talking about maths teaching today. So I've been a primary maths advisor in maths for quite a long time now, and when I'm running training, I'm always scanning the people in front of me. I often work with small groups, so I can talk to people one-to-one at break, and I can see when people aren't okay. And right now, as a community, you can, it's just happening on a mass scale, and we need to face it head on. If you're experiencing this, you need to face it head on. It always feels overwhelming. You, as a teacher, you are wedded to your job. You're there for your children day in, day out. You can't imagine not being. You can't imagine letting them down. You can't imagine letting the staff around you down. And it is so hard just to step back and say, I need help. But you need to do that if you are not okay. You may need time off. You may need counselling. All of this is normal. It's really, really normal to be so stressed under these circumstances. Most experienced teachers have had breakdowns or been close to breakdowns. It's part of how they become great teachers. We maybe don't talk about it all the time, so I'll talk about it now. As I have experienced the kind of stresses that teachers are under now. I was a head of maths in a secondary school in special measures, which had a really, really brutal Ofsted intervention that did far more damage than good, far more. And I was a single mum at the same time. So, and I absolutely loved my job and I did a great job, but it involved walking so close to the wire of mental health breakdown. And the only way that I was able to cope with that was because I'd previously had a breakdown. And I'd learnt lots of strategies for coping and understanding why I was where I was. And I did actually take some time off. I think I had about 3 weeks off. My union just ordered me off and they said, look, you're clearly stressed and it's circumstantial. Just take the time. And of course, it was the right thing to do. And that, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to come back and finish the job and do a really good job by the children that I cared about. So when I'm working with teachers, typically, I'm working with a teacher in normal times who you talk to them about maths teaching and they're not really there. So you talk to them about their life and they're coping with a parent with dementia and a child who's really ill and they're not on top of what's wrong with them. And you just say, it's Thursday. You need to go home and sleep and have a proper weekend and take some time. And you go and talk to the head teachers. They say, yeah, we know, we've told them. We know they need to go. And as a maths advisor, I sometimes hang around to say, I'm not leaving this school until you've gone. And then eventually we come to a deal where they're going to take an hour to get their stuff together, and then they are going out the door. They're not coming back in front of their class. And everyone is so happy to help that teacher because they get it. And the only person who can't see that they get it is the teacher themselves, because they hate being vulnerable and they hate having to ask for help. But it is part of life. You have to ask. If you don't learn to ask yourself as a teacher, you are never going to be a great leader in education. It's part of the deal. To be able to be a great head teacher, a great leader in education, you need to know what it's like to have been vulnerable and to have asked for help and to have been helped. If you ask for the help you need and you take the time out, when this is all over, you will still have a career in education somewhere. If you're unlucky enough to be in a school where you're not supported, then you need to be out of that school because you're vulnerable. And that's part of the reality that you're dealing with that now. That doesn't mean you need to be out of teaching. But if you stay when you shouldn't stay, if you stay at work day in, day out, and just carry on, and you wreck your mental health, you will not survive in teaching. So there are all sorts of helplines. I'm based in Cumbria. There's a specialist mental health helpline. You can self-refer and ask for help. You may need to ask if you've not got enough money yourself, ask friends, relatives. If you need counselling and urgently and you can't get it on your health service, ask for financial help to get private counselling. That might be what makes the difference. That might be the stitch in time that saves 9. Use it if you need it. Okay, I'm going to leave that there today to keep this short.